Almost 6 months later, we are finally back with the 4th episode of the most anticipated series, Fresh Animation Mods. No introductions needed, let's dive right in, boys. Silly Moves is a new player animation texture pack. From all the packs I tried, this one has to be the most fluid. With it installed, your character feels so lively, energetic, and fresh. Very close, if not identical to actions and soft player animation. Currently, the pack only covers the walking, running, and idling animations, but the author is working actively to cover more. One could only imagine how it would look if it were complete. Next up, we have a client-sided mod and a data pack that adds fireball summoning animation to the blaze. When recharging, you'll notice the fireballs smoothly pop up from behind the blaze, something that, aside from its aesthetic appeal, can be quite insightful in survival playthroughs. This pack will add more frames to the animations of loading the bow and the crossbow, making them smoother than their vanilla counterpart. I see this mod being used with a 3D texture pack, along with some projects that enhance the shooting animations. It can make everything look fluid and satisfying. Thanks to Pine Hosting, you get to run all of these fresh animation mods on a server and maintain excellent performance, all with a price tag as low as $3 per month. The absence of content on these mods and the service's modern components will allow you to get by using a relatively cheap bundle. Whatever bundle you end up choosing, you get high-end Ryzen CPUs as well as NVMe SSD storages that will make the loading time super fast and eradicate stuttering amongst other problems. You're also going to be accompanied with a team of experts that will help you solve even the most difficult of crashes. Pine Hosting also covers many locations around the world, in addition to having a big Discord server for their community, a place where you can get authentic feedback from people who've actually used the service. Whether you are running a low-end server with my fresh and smooth mod pack, or a beast computer for an RPG mod pack, Pine Hosting will have you covered. Also, there's a 30% discount on your first purchase. Just make sure to use my code ENDER on the checkout. Thanks to Pine Hosting for sponsoring this video, and now let's go back to the mods. Next up, we have Figured Animations, one of the best player animations packs I've ever seen in my life. This pack offered smooth, realistic animations for everything in the game, from shooting a bow, a crossbow, or a trident, to crawling, sneaking, and swimming, to chopping up trees with axes, mining stone with pickaxes, tilling the soil with hoes, to eating, and a lot more to name. My suggestion for the author would be to enhance compatibility with other mods and packs, along with fixing some bugs. Also, the pack is free, despite it being available on Ko-Fi. All you have to do to get it for free is simply write 0 on here and check out. You also need the Figura Mod. It's client-sided, so no worries about servers. Anyways, once you load the world with it, click this triangle, paste your figured pack in the avatar file, choose the pack, click done, and the animations should work after that. Cooler Animations is a Forge mod that enhances a handful of vanilla movements, the obvious ones being the running and the walking animations. But there are also unique animations like axe and pickaxe animations, combat animations, eating animations, and drinking animations as well. Surprisingly, the mod extends to the villagers as well, but if you have fresh animations, prepare for a horrible jump scare. Different from other mods of its type, Cooler Animations does display the movements on the first-person view as well, which is awesome. My suggestion isn't so much to add support for other projects. I know, Salmon, you don't want to do that. What I'm suggesting instead is the option to disable certain animations so that other projects, mainly fresh animations, could do their magic. And to also be able to disable the first-person animations. Not everyone is a fan of that, but apart from that, it's a decent mod. Vectorientation is a mod that will make the blocks bend and skew each time they are being held around. This effect is most visible when an explosion happens on a sandy or a gravelly area. However, when we add a mod like Explosion's Overhaul, this effect immediately becomes ubiquitous. Any explosion will now cause the blocks to spray around, thus showcasing the beauty of the Vectorientation mod. Immersive Damage Indicators is exactly that. Each time you damage an entity, an animated number will pop up, showing how much damage you've dealt. I like how the author here took an ancient mod concept and modernized it through smooth animations. Well done, and I see so many people preferring this approach over the conventional options. It's less disruptive and gratifying to watch. Tidal is a favorite client-sided mod that adds beautiful tidal waves to the game. These waves change their color tint based on the biome, and their textures are fabulous and will greatly improve the ambience of Minecraft. In the third episode, I showcased a mod called Coastal Waves. It was a pretty awesome project that also beautified the beaches on Minecraft. However, that mod wasn't client-sided and only worked for Forge, so I reckon many will find Tidal more viable. Mass Effects is a small mod that enhances some particles in the game. Things like smashing with a mace, throwing under barrels, and even death smoke are going to look completely different and freshly animated. Due to the small size of this mod, I see it being integrated with other fresh animation mods. I also added it to my mod pack if you'd like to save yourself the trouble of making a pack. Dive In is a simple mod that adds this animation triggered when you jump on a pool of water or lava. The animation here isn't as smooth as something like Actions and Staff diving animations, but I'll take it, as it is the first of its kind. The only thing I would suggest for the author, apart from making the animations a little smoother, is to make it client-sided. Currently, it's not. Spirit of Fight is a mod that is very similar to Epic Fight, as it adds different new attacks and weapons to the game, along with plenty of skills to learn too. I added it to this video because of how it freshens up all kinds of movements in the game, and so it fits the fresh animation theme. You certainly can't add this to your mod pack. It overhauls the combat system, so it won't serve as a convenient client-sided feature. But just like the Epic Fight mod, it can be an excellent option for simulation and RPG gameplay. Reanimated Blue is currently the only resource pack that changes the animations of the mobs on Minecraft, besides the true and tried fresh animations pack. The special thing about Reanimated Blue is that it has depth animations for all the mobs, in addition to neat falling physics too. Recently, this pack began to cover the Vindicator. The Vindicator will now appear holding the axe before swinging it with both arms as he attacks you. Fresh Animation's most recent update made huge changes to the mob animations, but supporting the alternatives can motivate more artists to do what Astralex does. It's a much better outcome than having just one animation pack and a billion add-ons for it. Recently, I stumbled across a beta mod called Locomotion. It offered some of the smoothest first-person animations I've ever seen, and currently it covers a fair bit of movements. Well, my friend, you should not be surprised to know that the person behind this upcoming mod is the same person who made the Train Guys animation Overhaul mod. I can only imagine both mods packaged as one, providing the first and third person animations. It's a future I wish I get to see. But right now, both mods are not released yet. They can only be found on GitHub, where you must compile them first to enjoy these visuals. The author seems to work actively on the mod, so we may see a release at some point. Though please manage your expectations and let Train Guy cook. Making such animations is hard. Visual Effects Plus is a texture pack that adds plenty of visual effects and animations, all with the purpose of enhancing the game's ambience. Rain and thunderstorms were one of the most notable parts of this pack, with different biomes featuring different visuals. Swamps and forests were also quite beautiful. There were butterflies and fireflies, as well as moist and sun rays, all helping to enliven these biomes and make them as aesthetic as possible. This pack is constantly being updated, and what I showed you guys is only a part of the whole. Install it and see how your world comes alive. Consumability adds eating animations for every type of food on the game. This is a better alternative to eating animations mod, simply because it's a texture pack and requires no specific mod loaders or versions to run. Though I also love the animations here. They're quite different from the original mod, particularly when it comes to carrots and drinks. Though rest assured, I have a smoother option coming up. 2D Projectiles is a mod that gives the arrows and the fireworks a smooth rolling animation. This effect, although small, is quite visible in-game. We use bows all the time, and seeing the arrows roll smoothly is something I'll never get bored of. Also, it's compatible with many packs across the board, so try adding it to your mod pack. What you just saw isn't actions and stuff, it's a combination of fresh food pack, all 3D potions, And finally, Hold My Items mod. Recently, the latter has been updated and now features full support for those packs and will give you those fresh animations as you eat or drink anything in the game. Just like the pack before, this is something you'll see every day, as food and potions are a significant part of the game. REPO Hit is a mod that will give your character the mouth animation from the game REPO. The animation triggers each time you talk, and it will have a lasting difference on servers involving the voice chat mod. This is a rather fun and enjoyable animation to look at, could produce plenty of hilarious moments, and as I said earlier, will serve nicely on any mod pack or server you put it on. This next mod adds 5 different animations to the typing on Minecraft. There's the fade animation, the grow animation, the scaling animation, the scroll animation, and finally the stretch animation. Animating the chat on Minecraft can modernize the user interface, ultimately creating a highly satisfying experience. I would definitely download this mod alongside projects like smooth scrolling amongst other mods that enhance the GUI. And we tie up this episode with the Detailed Animations Tester Edition. This is an alpha build that teases the community on what's yet to come to the Detailed Animations pack. The most interesting animations here were the crawling, the swimming, shooting a bow, and how all of said animations are visible on first-person view as well. Simok is taking his sweet time on the pack, and this alpha build isn't really helping our curiosity. Come on man, just release it already. If you are interested in more fresh animation mods, specifically 60 more fresh animation mods, I'd recommend checking out the past episodes. These are the rarest types of mods, so you will want to collect as many of them as possible. Subscribe and turn on the bell for weekly modding videos, and I'll see ya in the next one, my friend.